1 week after Rafi vanished without a trace, a team of paranormal investigators arrived at the Huger house to see if they could find him or discover what happened to him. They found his cracked phone lying on the floor, and the last video he recorded was still playing on it. But that wasn't the only terrifying thing they discovered. This is the second part of the most cursed place on Earth. Let's jump right in. The paranormal team enters the house where 1 week earlier, Rafa and his friends were playing a game with a Ouija board when they accidentally summoned a Jinn. The spirit warned them they would be punished for disturbing its rest, and then the lights went out. When they flicked the lights back on, they saw the pentagram drawn on the floor in front of the fireplace. But Rafa was nowhere to be seen. They called the police, but their investigation turned up nothing. And now a team of paranormal investigators have come to see if they can figure out what happened to Rafa. The team members are Marcus, a skeptic who doesn't believe in any of this supernatural stuff. Sam, a young woman with an interest in the occult and psychic phenomena. And Father David, a priest who specializes in exorcisms. He's reluctant to go inside the house, but the other 2 investigators convince him to join them. As soon as they step inside, Marcus shines his flashlight around the room and spots something strange. It's Rafa's phone lying near the fireplace. The screen is dead, but when he picks it up, he sees the last video he recorded is still playing. The video shows the 3 friends gathered around the fireplace using the Ouija board. It's eerily quiet. You can only hear the crackling fire until suddenly a whisper cuts through the silence. He didn't listen. The disembodied female voice says, sending shivers down everyone's spine. Then the fire in the fireplace erupts into flames, momentarily blocking the camera's view. When the fire calms down again, Rafa's phone is lying on the ground and the video cuts off. No one has touched the phone since they found it, yet it now has a new video playing on it. Marcus turns the phone off, shaken by what he just witnessed. The hair on the back of his neck is standing on it. How is this possible? He wonders. They enter the kitchen, which is covered in trash and debris. It looks like a struggle took place here. On the counter, they find a Bible with the words, "Turn away from darkness," written on the cover in what appears to be blood. It smells like sulfur, too. They hear a noise coming from inside the pantry, so Marcus slowly opens the door. There's nothing there, just some old food and supplies. But as he closes the door, they hear a loud crash followed by maniacal laughter echoing throughout the house. Marcus shines his light around the room, trying to find the source of the commotion. Then he notices something peculiar. The crucifix hanging on the wall is upside down. That's never a good sign, he calls out. Hello, is anyone here? But the only response is an eerie silence. He shakes his head, chalking it up to the wind. But as he walks through the house, he finds more things out of place. Paintings are knocked off the walls, furniture's overturned, and the air is thick with the smell of decay. They decide to go upstairs to check on the sources of these disturbances. As they make their way down the dark hallway, they hear voices whispering their names. They freeze, listening intently, but the whispers fade away. Suddenly, the door to the prayer room flies open, startling them. Was that one of the ghosts? They look at each other, unsure of what to do next. Father David steps forward, his faith and resolve giving him strength. He crosses himself and enters the room, followed closely by Sam. Marcus hesitates at the doorway, torn between his skepticism and a growing sense of dread. Inside the prayer room, they find a book lying open on the rug, the pages filled with indecipherable symbols. The air is heavy with the stench of decay, and a single candle flickers on the table, casting long shadows on the walls. Just then, the candle goes out, plunging the room into total darkness. A wave of cold air washes over them, raising goosebumps on their arms. They hear chains dragging metal moans, and the whisper, "Help me!" echoes around them. Startled by the sudden movement, Marcus drops his flashlight, and the beam of light reveals an inscription carved into the wood paneling. It reads, "Beware the whispers in the night, for they will lead you to eternal fright." Sam gasps as she notices more writings on the walls, ancient Arabic words glowing faintly in the darkness. She shines her flashlight on them, illuminating the faded ink. Together, They deciphered the message, which warns trespassers that they won't leave the house alive. They can feel the intense power emanating from the writing. It's almost as if the very walls are pulsating with malevolent energy. As they continue exploring, they discover a secret passage hidden behind a bookshelf. The opening is concealed, but they manage to find it. Inside, they find a spiraled staircase leading down into darkness. The stairs are old and creaky, and with each step they take, the air grows colder. Finally, they reach the bottom of the stairs, where they find themselves in a dark and dank chamber. The only light in the room comes from a small crack in the ceiling, which casts a faint glow on the walls. As they move deeper into the room, they notice a change in temperature. It feels like stepping into an ice bath. The air is stale and heavy, making it hard to breathe. Then they hear it again, the sound of chains dragging. This time, it seems closer, like the source is somewhere within the room. Suddenly, a pair of glowing red eyes appear in the darkness, fixed on them with an eerie intensity. Startled, they turn and run in the opposite direction. Their flashlight flickers and dies, leaving them in total darkness. Only the thermal camera continues to record. They stumble around in the pitch-black room, desperately searching for the exit. The temperature continues to drop, and they can feel the presence closing in on them. As they move, they hear footsteps following close behind. Heavy and deliberate, they seem to be getting closer. The footsteps stop, and then they hear a raspy voice whispering, "You shouldn't have come here. Now you'll never leave." They keep running, but there's no escape. They feel a cold hand brush against their skin, and the voice whispers, "One soul is not enough." Then the floor gives way under their feet, dropping them into a pit of darkness. As they fall, they hear chains dragging and a voice laughing maniacally. They land on the ground below with a thud, the impact knocking the breath out of their lungs. Pain shoots through their bodies, and they can feel blood trickling down their arms and legs. But they don't have time to dwell on their injuries, because the voice is coming closer. "Found you," it rasps, amusement dripping from its words. But before it can do anything, they hear a loud crash from above and the ground begins to shake. The voice lets out a furious roar. "Get away from me!" Then everything goes silent. They cautiously climb to their feet and dust themselves off. The voice is gone, but they can still feel its presence watching them. "It's trapped," a voice says. But it's only a matter of time before it breaks free. Shaken and frightened, they flee the chamber, desperate to escape the house and the evil entity within. They race through the halls, the footsteps echoing behind them. Finally, they burst through the front door and collapse on the lawn, gasping for breath. But their ordeal is far from over. As they look up at the house, they see all the lights turned off. Then they hear a horrifying sound. It's the azan, the call to prayer, but it's being played in reverse. What does it mean? Marcus, Sam, and Father David exchange worried glances. They know they have to get out of there fast. But as they turn to go, the trees surrounding the house begin to sway violently in the wind, even though there's no breeze. Suddenly, a large tree crashes down across the road, blocking their path. They're trapped. Then they see another tree fall, and another, until the road is completely blocked. They turn back, hoping to find another way out. But every path is blocked by fallen trees. They are prisoners of the house, and as the sun sets, the evil entity within begins to stir, waiting for its next victims. The screen fades to black, and the last shot shows the house from the outside with the sound of azan playing backwards. Would you like the voiceover script, thumbnail prompt, or scene-by-scene breakdown next? Ask ChatGPT.